If you like this show and haven't looked at our Patreon campaign, go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. We talk about it quite a bit, but I want to remind people that it exists because it's what makes this show and the effort that goes into it possible. Go there, take a look at the reward tiers that span shows across the entire network, and give what you can if you decide to give. Otherwise, hey, thanks for listening. Once again, that is patreon.com/DuckFeedTV. Here we go. Welcome to Radio Free Midworld, a podcast about the Dark Tower series of books by Stephen King. My name is Cole Ross, and today I'm joined by Evan Jones-Thorne. Hey, Evan.
Hey, how's it going, Cole?
It's going just fine. Thank you for hopping on here in the new year. This is the first episode of 2018.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
Man, fuck 2017.
A lot of us said fuck 2016, and then
I did.
That
did.
seemed to make 2017 worse.
Yeah,
so.
I know, and I've thought about that, and I've come to the conclusion that still fuck 2017.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. I feel like it was better than 2016 in a number of ways, but it was also a lot worse than 2016 in a number of other ways.
Yeah. It's like a existential problem whack-a-mole kind of stuff.
I feel like there aren't nearly enough existential problems that can be compared to whack-a-mole.
Yeah. Well, no, by which I mean, like, okay, like we dealt with that went away, or it's no longer a pressing concern. And then
No.
Okay.
I totally get your meaning, and I'm saying, like, I really just I feel like existential philosophy in general would be a lot more appealing if there were more I guess whack-a-mole, but more generally just like boardwalk carnival game analogs.
Right,
that
like Midway kind of stuff. Like, it's an existential
like existential skee ball.
Yeah, clown balloon mouth filling. Yeah.
If anybody has any really good existentialist boardwalk carnival game analogies, I guess tweet those to Brayton. I feel like he's the person who's best equipped to handle that.
Well, let's just route that. He's the one who would actually truly make something of those.
Yeah, tweet those to is it Brayton J. Cameron?
Brayton JC.
Brayton JC. Yeah. Tweet that to @Brayton JC.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I'm choosing to look at the positive, and last year was the first full year of this show, and it's been a lot of fun.
I didn't even realize that's fun.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to have been involved in it, even though I'm not terribly happy with how the film franchise wound up going.
It's fine. We will always have the books, at least until the show ends in 2019. So and then I'll move on.
At which point the books will be destroyed. Read fast, motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's manageable. It's manageable. You can do it. So we're here to finish out the section of the book called "Come Reap." This is the final part with the flashback that takes place primarily in the flashback. Next time, there's going to be a little bit of cleanup, some details and things like that. But yeah, this is kind of the culmination. This is when the gunslingers come out to play.
And Cole, did I originally sign up to do this part of this book?
Yeah, that's why I emailed you.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I'd signed up for it or if you just needed somebody or not. I don't think I meant to sign up for it because the final act of this flashback is something that has always just kind of just gotten to me on a very base level, and I'm always super anxious and uncomfortable reading it.
Okay. Is it just because of like the TikTok hand of fate, this is going to work out badly kind of thing? Or?
No, it's even been the very first time I read through it, and I'm sure that knowing what's coming does not help because it's just, monumentally unpleasant even by Stephen King standards.
Right.
But I guess I can get more into it when we get there. There's a lot to go through before we get to the the really bad part.
Right.
Believe it or not, it hasn't gotten really bad yet.
It's been bad. It's
been bad.
It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. And even
Yeah.
this section is, you get some real whiplash because this is definitely the most action heavy part of the book. This is the part, I mean, aside from the beginning that starts out with, literal momentum, this is the part of the book where things move very, very quickly. Like, this is the battles and stuff like that. So I forget how that sentence was going to end because a weird computer sound happened.
Okay, I got that on my end too. I was very confused by it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I can edit it out.
It was just not a sound that I'd ever heard before, and I was literally like scrolling when it happened. Like, so I was like, did I just do that?
Yeah, we can leave that in. No, this is a roller coaster. This is a roller coaster, and you get those moments of triumph. But again, even from just having read The Gunslinger, from having read the beginning of this book, we understand that there are people that are not walking out of this, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
even
if you haven't gotten to the end of this book yet, it ends. This ends badly.
Yeah, and all of those tiny fist pump moments, they come with caveats, saying like, hey, don't think that things get better. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of from here on out almost. Like, that's just kind of a good disclaimer for the rest of the Dark Tower series.
Right.
Just don't assume that things get better for the characters that you have come to know and love.
Right. This is definitely an articulation point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the last time the Big Coffin Hunter succeeded in throwing Roland, Cuthbert, and Elaine into the Hooskow, into the Calaboose, into the Chokey, framing them for the murders of Kimba Reimer and Mayor Hart Thorin, which is convenient because when they're under lock and key, they can't stop them from stealing all of that oil for John Farsa.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I would like to take a second and just say sweet Matilda reference.
I think a Chokey is an actual thing.
I think you're thinking of a pokey.
Okay. Huh.
I'm pretty sure Chokey is I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that it's specific to Roald Dahl's Matilda.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Everything that I'm looking at is here. Matilda the Chokey. Oh, and it's like a Mandela effect thing. So I immediately need to back away from that. That stuff annoys me.
Okay.
But yes, but it still
let's
applies.
not scare Cole.
It still applies. It is a Chokey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, they're in jail. The Big Coffin Hunters think that they're in the clear. However, Susan decides to mount up, wrap herself in a serape, take Roland's guns, and shoot her childhood friend to free them.
Yeah, I am so bummed that I was sick when you guys recorded because that's such a good scene, and I really wish I could have talked about it more.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, like, what do you have to say?
It's fucking great and super badass and shit. I don't really have anything profound to say. I just really wish I would have gotten to just kind of react to it with you guys because I don't know. It's like it is absolutely Susan's finest hour.
Yeah, and
it's so fucking good.
And just like the rest of the book, it is that high of her plan going off like it should. She is the big damn hero there. And then immediately she is disgusted with what she has done. Every action is paired with just an emotional come down, right?
Right, which is very on brand for everything really in this series. Like the only reason that Roland is as effective as he is that he doesn't have the emotional connection to the world.
Right.
Like everybody else has this visceral emotional come down from what they've done. And you kind of see over time, you see Eddie and Susanna and even Jake kind of lose that a little bit.
Right.
But this is Susanna's, or not Susanna, this is Susan's first time. It's basically like Susan's, it's her first time.
Yeah.
And so she still very much has that.
Yeah. Yep, the things that we give away, the ways we compromise ourselves to accomplish what we need to save the people that we love. Big theme in the series.
Yeah.
But she did that. Now going back, and now everybody is reunited. Even Shimi's there.
Yeah.
And
I love Shimi.
Shimi's great.
I don't know if I've really been able to talk about Shimi too much. Like, I know he's kind of had like a minor part in
yeah, he's popped up here and there. So the thread that runs through the commentary on Shimi in general is just kind of like, yep, that's Stephen King, including another developmentally disabled person, because that's kind of what he does. I'm pretty into Shimi's combination of guile and loyalty.
Yeah. Shimi, in my opinion, is like he's the best example of this Stephen King trope.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really like a number of other Stephen King works that have this same archetype. Like, I think that Dreamcatcher is an amazing novel, and I think that if you've seen the movie, it makes no fucking sense if you've read the book. But like I like Duddits a lot, but I think that Shimi is the most complete and most effective version of this archetype, even though I think that he does tend to kind of overuse it.
Yes, as a whole, and even within this book,
as a whole,
like we're going to get into some
somewhat within this, yeah.
But like even in this section, we're going to get into some slapstick that is really out of place.
Yeah. But I just feel like Shimi's a very sympathetic character.
Yeah.
That like reminds me of like just like people that I've known. Like he seems like a very real, very believable person, which I think is why the character is so effective.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to let people down. Yeah. So he's readied their horses. And Roland says, no, we're not going to ride away. We can't abandon our mission. We have to go in, and we have this quote, we have this boast that he gives. No more castles. The real gunslingers are here. Let's see if he can deal with them. He being Jonas. Like, this is where they stop dancing around each other, right? Because the first order of business is to go blow up this oil patch, which Cuthbert says smells like giant farts. I need to take a moment here. He keeps trying to say it over the explosions. Nobody can hear it. It's like, never mind.
That is the moment for me when the Cuthbert Eddie parallel like fucking crystallizes. It's like, oh, yep, there it is. Here we are. Yes, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Just him trying to get this dumb joke out.
Mm-hmm. Like at the expense, like, hey, you guys are playing with hot, like not high explosives, but you could all basically get cooked. I'm going to distract your attention because I have to get this point in.
God, it's great. It seems like a throwaway line, but I'm really glad that you called it out in the notes, because like I'm always happy when I get to that part.
Yeah.
Because it's just so dumb and so just like it's just like the Cuthbert Eddie, like everything kind of hits right there. And it's the dumbest, worst way for him to do it, and I love it so much.
And it kind of like undercuts, like this is the opening salvo, right? They light this up, everybody is going to hear it. In fact, Jonas hears it while he's fucking.
Yeah.
And it's also in the midst of like I generally am just like way into the idea of Sitco itself. Like
I do too. I am too.
Yeah.
Me too. Let's go with me too.
Yeah, you do into it. Yes,
I do. Yes, correct.
Yeah, but just like every time they go, there are like signs. There's like employee safety posters and stuff like that are just completely inscrutable. Like I don't know. I like the artifacts. I like the little bits of our world that jab up above the surface.
Yeah, pretty much the only way that I could be more into the Sitco is if it was actually an Applebee's, because I worked there for 3 years, and anytime there's a joke where Applebee's is the punchline, I immediately think it's hysterical.
Oh, so wait a minute. What would John Farson want from the Applebee's? All the tater skins?
I mean, there's a lot of oil. There is a lot of oil.
True. I think that it has to be very Applebee's specific. I think that John Farson's war effort requires an awful lot of the Jack Daniel's whiskey sauce.
That's TGI Fridays, motherfucker.
Oh, god damn it. Shit. Yeah, you're right.
He needs that Mexi Ranch.
Oh, he
needs his Mexi Ranch to make that Fiesta Lime chicken.
What he needs is tanker after tanker full of the perfect margarita.
Oh, I have made so many of those in my lifetime.
Hey, Evan, what makes them perfect?
Nothing. They are not. They are
extra
far
sugar?
from perfect.
Yeah.
I can make you a legitimately perfect margarita, but it will not be the Applebee's recipe.
Yeah, I've definitely had a perfect margarita, and I think that all of those fast casuals, like their secret ingredient is sugar. Like, I will make a margarita at home. There's no sugar in this. It's
at least at Applebee's it's sour mix.
Okay. Ooh, yeah.
Which, like, there is a time and a place for sour mix. Like, it is not inherently a bad thing. Mm-hmm. But the kind that you get at a casual dining restaurant is a bad thing.
No, I'm incorrect when I say there's no sugar, because there's definitely a lot of sugar in triple sec. But, like, outside of the three primary ingredients, like, I'm
tequila, triple sec, and lime juice.
Right, and I'm leaning on those limes an awful lot.
Yeah, well, that's all you need for a margarita is like good tequila. Passable, like, not even great, but passable triple sec.
Oh, like, I mean, is there such a good thing as good triple sec?
Well, you can spend a whole bunch of money and get Drambuie, but if you do that all the time, fuck yourself.
No,
like,
I'm gonna get.
Doesn't matter.
I've got a bottle of Duckfeed that has been in my house for 2 years.
No, Duckfeed is the perfect triple sec for mixed drinks. It's exactly what you want. That's what everybody uses because it's fine.
Yeah, that's a local Cincinnati company too.
Oh, nice.
They bottle it on the west side.
I did not know that. As an ethnic Ohioan, I support this brand.
Yeah.
But no, if you want to make a perfect margarita, don't go to Applebee's and ask them for one, because they'll give you some bullshit. I know, because I did that for like 2 years. You need 2 ounces of tequila, about 3/4 ounce of triple sec, ounce of lime juice, salt the rim, shake it, strain it.
Yeah, I never even get that precise. I'm like, boom, juice of half a lime. There you go.
Well, that's rough proportions. Like, if or no, what I gave was specific proportions.
Right.
If you really want to just like fucking like tequila, triple sec, lime juice, salt, rim, ice, whatever, go.
Yeah, I definitely eyeball it. It comes out okay.
Yeah, a margarita made the right way is a wonderful thing. If you've not had one like that, whatever your relationship with tequila, I understand that people have a mixed relationship with tequila.
Right.
My mom,
a misto relationship with tequila.
My well played. My dear sweet darling mother took 21 shots of tequila on her 21st birthday and has not had tequila since.
I thought you were going to say she's still drunk. I don't know your mom.
That would explain so much about me. Oh, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so, though. But my darling mother didn't drink tequila for almost 3 decades. I made her a margarita using the method described earlier.
Right.
She enjoyed it.
Yeah, because a good margarita is sour.
A good margarita doesn't taste like tequila. It's just an element.
Yes, it is. It is one part of many, and that's something that John Farson doesn't understand, because he wants that sugary sour.
John
mix.
Farson makes a goddamn garbage margarita. Yeah, fuck you if you think otherwise.
Yeah, good man, garbage margs.
I have decided this is a confrontational episode of Radio Free Midworld. Fuck John Farson's margaritas. They are bullshit.
Oh, man. So anyway, Evan, we have gone far afield.
Have we, though? We have. We've gone so far. Jesus Christ, what were we even talking about?
We were talking about them blowing the oil fields at Citgo.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
It just like every time they fuck with this oil, it goes out of control. Like the fire travels from one pump to the other, and then the entire field goes up, basically alerting everybody in Hambry that something is going down. And as I said, Jonas hears it while fucking. He's having sex with Coral, and he thinks, "Oh, this is a crazy orgasm." No, wait, there's an explosion in the distance. And then Clay comes and says, "Yeah, those shitheads from InWorld, those shitty little kids, they're out too." And Jonas is like, "I don't care. We are getting the orb, and we are protecting the orb." Is all that's on his mind.
Jonas is like, "I don't care right now. I'm literally having sex."
Right. Yeah.
No. That happens after. I'm sorry.
he is past the point of no return. Yeah. So
he is in the middle. He is. I wish I knew more Latin. I was going to say something in Latin that was meant in the middle of having an orgasm, but I don't
mid-coitus.
Actually know that.
Yeah.
No, like mid-coitus isn't really
the middle of the act.
Yeah. I have an
No.
English degree, but I never took a Latin class. Fuck my I guess.
No, well, you chose the winner.
If you know the Latin phrase for "in the middle of an orgasm," tweet it to @BraytonJC.
Yeah.
He'll really appreciate it.
He'll understand. He'll know who to take it to.
Please include no context whatsoever.
Yeah.
If you include context, he will not enjoy it. This is very important to me and to him.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yes, and to Cole, I assume.
Yeah. No, it's fine. What I want to do is I want to bring a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of let's say just magic into Brayton's life.
I mean, that's pretty much my entire life's goal. Like I had a child to further that goal, primarily.
to one day use it as an agent against Brayton.
Oh, I already have.
Okay.
Brayton knows aforementioned child.
Yeah.
They have bonded.
Just in case people don't know, we're talking about Brayton Cameron from Teenage Dirtbags.
Yes, Brayton
the
Cameron
Pitch.
from The Pitch, from Teenage Dirtbags, from Check It Out Comrade, from probably this podcast, from definitely a number of other Duckfeed podcasts.
Yeah,
if you don't know who I'm talking about, listen to more Duckfeed podcasts.
Yeah.
And
he's
also
a delightful man who needs more magic.
He is. And also tweet literally anything that's on your mind right now to @BraytonJC.
Yeah. He likes journaling for other people.
Yes, he really, really does.
This is so mean.
I love you. I love you, Brayton. You are one of my best friends. I am so sorry for the evil that I am bringing down upon you right now.
Oh, well. Speaking of evil being brought down on people, like the gang has got...
that was like a setup.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. See, here's the thing, Evan. Okay. I try and do these segues. I try and take us, because I think tangents should be allowed. Tangents should be encouraged, right? They're fun. Yeah. I listen to podcasts too. Yeah. I find, I find the moment where I can make the bridge and then boom, here's the segue. Right. This isn't on you. This is on everybody who I podcast with. And I drop that like I'm going to move on. And then just let's pump the brakes. Let's just stop this and point out what Cole just did. So, and then
wait. Are you just explained your entire MO for moving the podcast forward?
Yeah.
And then you said, let's stop this and look at Cole. Look at what Cole just did. In the third person. So I can only assume that you are not moving the podcast forward.
No, not right now. I just wanted to comment on the phenomenon that people just witness because it happens all the time.
Okay, great. I am very on board for this.
Yeah. So the gang has reintroduced themselves under their real names. I am not.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, what did Cole just do right now? Because you said let's look at what Cole just did right now, and then you started continuing the podcast.
No, I think you misunderstand. The look at what Cole just did was me saying that people stop and point out the segues that I make, which kills the momentum.
So the gang regathers and they get their weapons. They introduce themselves by their real names from is it Inworld?
Yeah, from Inworld, from Gilead.
Yeah. And then they kind of go their own ways, and Roland isn't ever going to see Susan again.
No. Like the way that the book puts it is that the next time he sees her, she will be in the ball.
Yeah, and that is less than ideal.
Well, I mean, just it calls out the finality, just like, you know, in maybe the previous section, the book, you know, the narrator, whoever is, you know, relating this tale, be it Roland or this, you know, third person.
Yeah, and like, but just like as a reader who has grown to care about both Roland and Susan, like that is suboptimal.
Yeah, and it's like it is this cascading chain of lass, because the previous time it was like, oh, and that was the last time they laid together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is not a super optimistic situation.
Yeah, this is where their fates separate, right?
Yeah.
Because Rhea pulls Jonas aside, shows him the ball, which drags him in. He is now obsessed with it. But inside he sees where Susan has gone to. She has gone to the red-doored hut out in the bad grasses. And he's going to go off with his posse to get her, right? Because, you know, that gives him leverage. That gives him power. And then Jonas proceeds to be a real fucking creep with this teenager.
Little bit, yeah.
Little bit. Sneaks up on her while she's sleeping, you know, gets the drop on her, and then just decides to feel her breast.
As you do.
No.
As you specifically, emphatically don't fucking do.
Yeah, as you shouldn't. Jonas is not a good man. He has never been portrayed as a good man. This is not really a betrayal. It is just another dimension, both to Jonas's just utter vileness and also Susan's vulnerability from this point forward, which sucks. And
and like I'm not the biggest fan of this scene, just because it kind of seems like Stephen King once again using like women's vulnerability to prove a point or to advance a plot or to sort of develop a character, which is something that he does a lot more than I'd like.
Yeah, it's
but
it's regrettable. I mean, it succeeds in making me uncomfortable.
It does what he wants it to do. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. It's just, you know,
not my favorite rhetorical device that Stephen King is apparently a huge fan of. Yeah,
it's not my favorite instinct of his, but this is kind of the last of that we're going to see, aside from Jonas continuing to call Susan Sunbeam, which is really insulting and kind of condescending, but that's the least of her problems, because like from this point forward, she's getting the shit beat out of her.
Yeah, it gets very bad. It gets very bad immediately, pretty much, for Susan.
And then this is a fraught comparison, but like her path, her march to the Charyou tree has kind of elements of like Jesus's march to Gehenna. Like,
I feel like if I've only watched the first season and a bit of Game of Thrones, but like Cersei's march through town seems to me to be kind of an homage, and it seemed in the book too to be an homage to this scene of Susan's march to the Charyou tree, which is very, very clearly an homage to Jesus's march.
Yeah, to the cross.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, just that this is a person who is, you know, who is dying in the service of something bigger. You know, like, or you could even do like, it's like a Joan of Arc kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
And like say what you will about Stephen King and about the books and the series and the way that he conveys all this stuff, but like this is a very intense, very captivating, and I feel like if you've read it, a very iconic scene.
Very much so. Specifically because Susan doesn't. At every turn, when she gets a blow, she returns a quip or a single sentence that undoes the person.
Yeah.
Right? later on, what's her name, Coral Thorin, gives her a pack of fives, pops her pops her in the kisser, and then she says, "Oh, you're never going to see Jonas again," and then that haunts, that haunts Coral for the rest of her life because it's true.
Yeah, which is.
I mean, it is claiming a kind of victory in the in the frame of a larger defeat and undoing.
Yeah, it's great, but it's also awful.
I mean, you hate to see it happen. To a character you've come to enjoy, and if that's not enough for you, to a person, if you only care about Roland, to a person that Roland cares about,
Yeah.
Like Susan's entire life from her opening scene has been incredibly unfortunate. Remember, all the way back on the Coos, where she was going to have her honesty proven. Like, she's been through an awful lot, and to summon up the strength, like, this is jumping ahead, but like her final act is a prayer to get the strength to not show them that they're hurting her, to not give them the satisfaction,
which is. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Right. So, Jonas gets in there. His plan is to have Clay Reynolds, the smarter of the big coffin hunters, of the cronies, right? To take Susan back to Seafront, back to the mayor's mansion. And then he decides to pry the ball away from Rhea, deciding that it is better in his control, using his superior strength and numbers to get it away from her, and Rhea rides away, cursing them as this goes on. We get to a really disturbing scene of kind of a revelation that witches, or at least Rhea, recharges herself by drinking people's blood.
Yeah, I've always been kind of curious, and maybe this is something that is answered within the larger Stephen King canon. I just haven't read enough. But like, is this a universal thing, or is this just like Rhea being Rhea?
I could see either.
Yeah,
I mean, they're vampires, like canonically.
There are obviously very clearly vampires, and like blood very clearly and has very distinct magical properties within the Stephen King universe's multiverse.
Yeah,
whatever we're calling it. But like witches specifically, like I haven't read enough Stephen King. I haven't really read any other Stephen King with witches in it to know.
Right. I don't have a definitive answer. Like, it is a very evocative image. So Cordelia's kind of unraveling. As everything
goes. It's a bad scene.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. Like, basically picture Cordelia's arc in this story. At the start, the track is at a volume of 0, and at the end it's at max. And the track that I'm talking about is just that sound of like somebody plucking like a violin, like a spider is coming by, like ding 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 ding, like this person's going crazy music. It's really upsetting to watch her and to see as she has kind of fallen into the state of being like a miniature version of Rhea herself, and to see the pact, to see the covenant sealed, with Rhea coming in saying, "Hey, the old ways need to be restored. I need your power." To have Cordelia cut open her gut and have Rhea bend down to drink the blood in this kind of gesture or posture that is really reminiscent of like oral sex kind of thing, like that's the way that I'm kind of picturing this.
Yeah, I do not think you're alone.
Okay. Yeah, it is. I mean, in a way, it is confirming that both of them are, have made this pact and become monsters themselves. Not that I'm saying that people who engage in oral sex with each other are monsters, but everything mixing together.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you're saying right now.
Yeah. I'm definitely on record as being really.
Yeah. Cole Ross is very anti-fun.
Yeah, it just
as we know.
Yeah.
Oh no, shit! All my Cole Ross domains expired. I have no online evidence that there are websites dedicated to
to unraveling my conspiracy.
Yeah, they're all gone because I didn't want to pay more money for a dumb joke.
I think the jokes served their purpose.
Yeah, they did.
I still don't. I just, man, that followed me into this year's Duck. What we're talking about is the meme from Duckstream that I'm a murderer.
From Duckstream 2016.
Yeah. I don't remember when it started. I
don't either. I came in midstream and there was this whole joke because Cole was doing some survival horror playthrough.
As I do.
As he does very well. And there was this joke in the Duckstream chat that Cole was an actual serial killer. Yeah. And so I went on GoDaddy and registered a number of domain names that suggested the same, and had them linked to the Duckfeed and Hexcrank sites respectively.
Yeah.
They have
funny.
Unfortunately all expired because it would have cost me significantly more money to renew them than it did to register them.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm pretty much biding my time until Duckstream 2018.
Yeah, just brainstorm because they've opened up so many new TLDs.
Yeah, I'm very excited. There's going to be some like
party.
That's a good one. I had why did Cole kill.us. I was particularly proud of that. And I got an email from the United States government asking me what the purpose of that URL registration was.
Wait a minute, what?
Because it's .us.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize they'd check that out.
Why did Cole kill.us?
Yeah.
I got an email from, I want to say the FCC, but it was some government entity who was like, hey, just wanted to check up. What's the purpose of this URL that you registered? And I was like, oh, it's an inside joke.
Right.
And they were like, oh, okay, great.
And then they let that be. Okay, it's really important to me that I know what you said to them.
Yeah. No, I very much said that it was a joke because I was definitely the one who registered it.
Uh-huh.
And you were definitely like...
I was definitely implicated in one of the worst crimes you can do.
Cole, it wasn't Cole Ross. It was just Cole.
Right.
So I was the only one whose information was actually implicated.
Right.
So I was very clear that it was a joke.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
There's a file. Oh, there's a file.
There's definitely a file that involves me and the name Cole. So you're probably fine.
Not an incredibly common name, although my company did just hire another Cole who spells it the same way.
Oh, well, just pin it all on him.
Yep, there we go. I have a patsy.
Easy. Done and done.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So nothing good can come from a recharged witch, I think is what we're trying to say with this URL.
That's the moral of that story.
Yeah. Just cool it. But we're gonna cut away to a momentary victory, right? And this is one where it's pretty much all deserved, right? Like we're gonna
absolutely, yeah.
End this chapter, at least this chapter called Reaping, on a high note because Roland and the others are waiting in this bad grass. Like it is described as like this savanna of grass that is like far taller than a person. Mm-hmm. You know, they describe like, oh, livestock will come out here and start eating it, and even like it has no nutrition, so they keep eating until they bloat up and die from it. Like it's this, it's the bad grass. And they're watching as the grass is parting. Like Jonas's men nearly ride over them as they're waiting in ambush. And what this starts is like a straight up Batman Arkham Asylum predator kill sequence as they ride up behind this entire kind of unit that is being led by Jonas, and stealth killing each of them, like just sidling up, like, oh yeah, this grass sure is bad, isn't it? Patong. Cuthbert, shooting one of them down with his slingshot, right?
Yeah, and it's great.
I love this. It
is super viscerally satisfying.
Yeah, just to see them killing without being noticing. Like they got like 1/10 of their numbers down before anybody noticed something was wrong. Something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then when shit gets real, we get this, like kind of our first instance of gunslingers of old battling like gunslingers of old. How gunslingers, no prisoners, like just these three kids marching against an entire army, and trying to break their ranks, right?
Yeah.
And in doing this, they kill Lengel. They get his machine gun. That's going to come back later in a big bad way.
Oh yeah. And you immediately.
Yep.
Like, it is very much Chekhov's machine gun.
Oh, for sure. And they've been setting this up for chapters and chapters. Like, Lengel loves this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And
fucking Roy DePape.
Oh, that guy. That terrible guy. No, I don't like Roy at all. He is not somebody I'm sad to see go. Then again, I don't like any of the big coffin hunters as people,
Yeah, no, like Jonas gets his too.
He does, because Jonas thinks he can save himself by threatening to smash the ball. Like, hey, this is what you really want.
Nope.
Yeah. And at this point, Jonas is trying to preserve the ball more than he's trying to preserve himself. Like, he's definitely fallen under its spell.
Yeah.
Then Roland, with 3 shots, the first one, turning, I think they describe it as turning his hand into a spongy mass with some fingers sticking out of it. So shoots the ball out of his hand. Jonas grabs Roland on the shoulder. Roland wheels around and puts 2 bullets in Jonas's face, and down he goes. And nothing of value was lost.
Nope.
Fuck you, you failed gunslinger. May your soul always be in the West.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why I felt bad about saying that. Sorry, I took a pause to take a sip there because I felt like it would be good. I don't know if I'm like comfortable even being that vindictive to a fictional person.
I feel like if you're going to be that vindictive to a fictional person, Jonas is the fictional person to be that vindictive toward.
True. I think I'm being too sensitive.
Like
here.
He is a right proper fuck.
Mm-hmm. With him down, with this right proper fuck down, his men have right proper scattered. They have broken the formation in a textbook example of how gunslingers are supposed to, engage in battle when the odds are against them.
Yeah, and it's like we've kind of seen this described, and then here's like the enactment of it. and you kind of get the sense that like even though they're still gunslingers in training, just how effective even the trainees are.
Yeah, even these like even calling them saplings of gunslingers would be a little bit generous, right?
Yeah.
Imagining how effective somebody twice their age with twice as much experience would be is actually pretty. Like they're basically superheroes, and we see that with Roland.
I feel like this very much helps you kind of understand just the level that Roland is operating at.
Yeah. But yeah, Roland, hey, victory 1. The second of the victories are going to rack up here. It says, hey, I've got my trophy here. Cuthbert says, hey, Roland, don't look in that orb. But Roland, being a person, is entranced by the orb and looks in and is drawn into it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Which, just, if you have a mysterious magical orb, just don't do the obvious thing. I feel like that. I don't know.
What I'm hearing you say is look into it as quick as you can. Is that the takeaway?
No, I feel like don't look into it is the real takeaway. Like, I feel like Cuthbert's actually pretty on the money here.
Might be something in there for me to look at and see.
Yeah, I know there's something in there. I know you just want to check. But I have a feeling that if you have like a scrying orb of some sort, it's totally going to want you to check.
Yeah.
And
so I should do it, is what you're saying.
Well, only if you know that its intentions are good.
Oh.
If it's like from your aunt or something like that.
But like the thing is, I need to look to see if the intentions are good.
Yeah, well, you make a good point. I guess just look. Yeah, just go for it. Just go. Go big or go home.
Yeah. In no way will this fundamentally alter my character and give me some new obsession to follow. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. You should definitely like look into it as deeply as you can, like immediately.
No. Okay. Just open up that bag.
Yeah. You should probably disrobe first just to be safe.
Oh, of course. And let all the light in. Yeah.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. So this takes us to the final chapter of the section, Beneath the Demon Moon 2.
Not foreboding at all.
No, not at all. Well, the previous chapter was called Reaping. So,
Yeah, we're going someplace bad here, boys and girls.
Yeah. So Beneath the Demon Moon Part 2, Coral has taken Susan to the pantry at Seafront. And this is where Susan, says, "Hey, you're never going to see Jonas again." Ha ha ha. Which is the blow that lands far more harshly than any of Coral's. Rhea has used her zombie control over Cordelia to walk into the Traveler's Rest, under the glassy eyes of the Romp, to convince everybody with a whisper what needs to happen. With a whisper, Charyou tree.
Which I know I've mentioned this at least once or twice before.
The chocolate tree?
Yes. Anyone out there who's got kids that watch Dora the Explorer, the chocolate tree episode is bone chilling when listened to from the other room.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I need to find that episode and record it from the other room and put it into something.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charyou tree.
Yep. And like everybody goes into this, like Rhea knows what buttons to press. Again, she is speaking through Cordelia, but like, yes, your mayor is dead and all of that, but this is going to sour the next harvest. As if times weren't bad enough, your crops are going to come up weird and your threaded stock are going to go wrong. We need to set things right. We need to return to the old ways. Not that Rhea really believes in them. She just knows that this is the most effective way to kill somebody by proxy.
Pretty much.
Yeah. While this is happening, Sheeny is over there. This is that moment of slapstick where, he's all angry and he's taking it out on his mule, Capricoso. And then Capricoso decides, hey, you know what? Fuck you. And bites Sheeny on the ass. He was bitten on the ass by his ass.
Yeah. Which has always been, that's a little on the nose.
A little bit.
Yeah. But Sheeny, he goes out to Seafront to look for Susan. He runs into Olive Thorin and Maria.
Yeah, the mayor of the mayor of the wife of the mayor, and
the mayor of the wife.
Yes, and also Susan's personal maid at Seafront, right? Like, why would Olive want to help Susan? Well, she recognizes the injustice. In previous episodes, I've called Olive like a secret MVP or really solid. Like, she was a victim of this, like Susan was. Like, she knows that neither Susan nor those boys had it in them. She understands the depths of the conspiracy and knows that, like, Susan is in real danger and all of them are fucked if they don't go as far away as possible.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
Olive really has been basically, like, more or less on the level the whole time.
Yeah.
Like she has been, like, almost remarkably, like, reasonable.
Yeah. Like, the worst thing you can say about her is that she has been passive in the face of the suffering, but, like, she does her best now to make it good when she understands that there is real danger, right? Even
her being passive is reasonable,
right? Like,
given the circumstances.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying, like, fuck Olive for not doing anything, because they're, like, we saw what was going on. We saw that she would have, an accident could have been arranged, Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Roland looking into the ball, we get like a flashback to that, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's definitely not foreshadowing, and you definitely should not worry about going forward.
No, so
it's definitely 100% fine.
So this is the second instance of this chronologically in the, like, in the telling, but it is the first of these in Roland's life, these revelations or these visions, right? This is incredibly reminiscent of when Walter took Roland out of his mind and showed him the scale of the universe in the tower at the end of The Gunslinger, right?
Yeah.
But what's happening is Roland's mind has been drawn out of his body, pulled into the orb, and, it's a scrying orb. It is sending him basically along the path of the beam to show him his entire journey to the tower. And as this is happening, he is hearing a voice that is describing in kind of vague terms the menace that is going to befall him, right? He sees visions of what, things we have already seen in Roland's travels in the present day, as he's dragged toward Thunderclap, dragged toward Endworld. He sees Tull, he sees John Brown and Zoltan, the wild-haired man and and his raven. He sees the wheelchair, and then he sees a Billy Bumbler impaled on a tree that screams "Oi" at him. That's from later.
Don't worry about that.
No, just give that good boy belly scratches.
Yeah, it's fine. It's definitely gonna be fine.
Yeah. And this voice that is talking to him is the voice of the turtle. And as he reaches Thunderclap, everything goes dark. Then, again, as like a specific callback or call forward to what'll happen with Walter later on. Light, let there be light. That brings this in. And what he sees, in the darkness of Thunderclap, beyond this sea of white faces, all the people who have died and were basically preserved where they stood in the snow and ash, is the Dark Tower sick. In this field of bloody roses. It's basically tumorous, right?
Yeah.
And, the voice tells him, the voice of the turtle tells him, like, hey, you will kill everything and everyone that you love, and still the tower will be pent shut against you. And this is the revelation. This is the epiphany that Roland has within the orb of what the greater stakes are.
Yeah, and it's he obviously, as Roland is wont to do, denies that and insists, that it will not stand. When I come here in my body, it will not stand. I swear on my father's name, it will not stand.
Right.
But he doesn't know. He doesn't have any way to know.
Right.
He's just like, Roland is a creature of pure will, and this is a very, very Roland moment.
Very much so.
And it is followed by another very, very Roland moment.
Yeah. So he is screaming, no, it will not stand, having decided based on what this evil artifact is showing him that his life's quest will be to go and set the tower right. He's screaming this out loud. The only thing that breaks the spell is Alan taking his turn at punching some sense into Roland and popping him straight into the mouth, knocking him out cold.
Yep. Very, very much. Yep. Which much, at this point in the series should be like just getting punched in the face to be brought back to his senses seems like a one of Roland, like an intrinsically Roland trait.
Punches to the face to Roland are as coconuts to the head are to Gilligan. It'll recover his memory. It'll shunt him back from his like ultra cool alternate personality.
Yeah, it just kind of brings him back to reality. Brings him maybe not down a peg, but just reminds him what peg he's on.
Yeah, like just reasserts some kind of reality, because Cuthbert and Elaine are, arguing over what they should do. They understand from their training that, somebody who is in a trance like this, if they wake them up before it's time, it will separate their mind from their body and they'll be lost forever. But it just like this injustice against the tower cannot stand. Roland's state here, being drawn into the ball, being drained by the ball, just as everybody else has before, is, that cannot stand as well. And you make a very good point, Evan, about the fact that, Roland can't know that this is true. He is shown this by this evil artifact. It is, presented as the voice of the turtle, as one of these guardians of the beam, this character, this, basically higher than a god figure in the multiverse. Like people who understand, people who've read it know that the turtle is a really, really big deal, and the turtle's going to factor in much later on too. But he has no way of knowing that this is true. And when he comes out, he is, he is faced with skepticism, right? Like, when he comes to later on, I'm going to skip over a point here. He's aged, like he has these strands of white in his hair, again, just like it was in the Gunslinger when he woke up aged after his visions there. Cuthbert observes that, the lover was still there. The role that they came to know in Hambry was still there, but the ball had taken away his joy and left only grief. Like, what the ball had done was replaced his obsession with Susan and himself with an obsession with the tower. So going all the way back to the first episode of this season, talking about this book, like, what we see is Roland building his own tower only to have it replaced with, the actual one, right? And this is where that swap happens.
Yep. And this is, I think, when Eddie calls Roland a tower junkie, like, this is the tipping point.
This is his hit.
Yeah. This is absolutely where he of his own volition chose to give up everything else.
Yeah, because he didn't just see the the path to the tower, the lands and the figures and the icons.
Yeah, he saw the other paths that he could take.
Right.
And he very distinctly, very definitely chose the tower.
Yeah. Well,
and that
he believes
that is
go ahead.
Yeah, well, just that is to me, like, maybe the single most defining moment in Roland's entire character, and it's something that you absolutely have to keep in mind in order for the next couple books to work, really.
Right. He believes that he's chosen his blood over everything. Like Cuthbert and Elaine, when he actually says, what his epiphany was, they don't believe him. They say, like, oh, the tower isn't real. That was just a fairy tale that was told to us. And Roland says, I choose the tower. I must, because that is the actual purpose of their father's quartet and the, hundreds of generations of gunslingers before them. That's what they're actually here to serve and preserve and protect. Right. And that is, that is the crucial obsession. That is the absolute faith that Roland has, where he can turn on a dime, and go from Susan is my everything and I need to protect her to understanding that she is bearing his child. He knows the ball has shown this to him. Knowing that she is captured, believing her to be safe, and saying she needs to live her life out without me because I have something else. He needs to abandon her to take up this new quest. That is the switch that is flipped. And you're right. It doesn't just explain what we have seen of Roland, up to this point. It explains what we're going to see from this point forward up to the very last page. Is that this is the march that he will undertake whether or not he has legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Momentous is the word I would use to describe this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So while this minor point is happening, we have Shimi, Olive, and Maria using fireworks and matches to light Seafront on fire to get Susan out. Yay. This is not a foregone conclusion. Oh, they want to leave Hambry. They want to get out. They pick a road less traveled to get away. While this is happening, the boys say, "Hey, the big fish we got to fry. Well, we got to get this we have the orb, but we can't resist, taking a piece away from Farson. Let's go after Latigo, one of Farson's generals at Hanging Rock, where these tankers are." Right?
Yeah.
What do you think of the scene of Cuthbert conning his way into the ranks by trying to hide his accent?
I love it. This is like this is one of those scenes that makes me wish, like, as much as I love Eddie, I wish we got more Cuthbert.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's this is not this both is and is not an Eddie Dean move.
You just picture Eddie Dean rolling up to a situation, like trying to like talk his way into like a Southern sheriff's office or whatever, trying to like take on a Hollywood like howdy y'all kind of accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's doing. Like, there's a cool little detail here because like they describe this from the point of view of the person he's trying to con. They say like, oh, he has a really strong mid-world accent. He's almost like a Nordling. It's like, wait,
yeah.
So does everybody from Gilead sound like they're Minnesota nice? Like, oh yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much
man.
I'm supposed to read into that.
Oh man, that is a question.
Yeah, we got to get the tower. Yeah.
God, now I'm just imagining the Dark Tower as
the Dark Tower as Fargo. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely 100% that.
I got to disagree with your gunslinging there, Rick. So anyway.
So good. That's why the movie didn't work. They didn't make it enough like Fargo.
Oh, I mean, they didn't make it enough Fargo.
They didn't make it with the cast of Fargo playing their characters from Fargo.
First off, they didn't make it a good movie like Fargo is, and also,
I guess their first mistake was not making it a good movie.
And their second
mistake we want to split hairs.
Their second mistake was not casting William H. Macy as Walter.
Holy shit, that would actually be great.
I'd love it. That'd be very good.
I never in a million years would have thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Or William H. Macy as Stephen Deshane.
Ooh, yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, he can steal that scene.
William H. Macy as Stephen and Steve Zahn as Roland.
Oh, shit.
That'd be a bad movie.
Steve Zahn, what's he been up to recently?
I don't know, but you know how when you're in a relationship with a person and you've got like your list of people where it's like, oh, if the opportunity ever arises, like I want like just free reign to go to town on this this celebrity.
Yeah, carte blanche.
Yeah.
Hey, if Allison Brie swings into my life, you're just gonna have to understand.
Yeah, I will, Cole.
Okay.
But my girlfriend's the number one on her list is Steve Zahn.
Huh.
Which, yeah.
So I feel bad. I feel bad that he was kind of left aside by the whole Sandler verse. Like as much as those movies are really bad,
I feel like that might have actually been the best thing. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. She apparently is in the other room and just texted me, I am inaccurate. He is number two. He is number two on her list. Number one, I believe, and I will get a message if I am mistaken, but I believe that number one is Galen Polivka from The Hold Steady.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I could see that. No,
okay,
it's
correct.
It's
correct,
important
yes.
that we're accurate. Oh,
yeah.
Steve Zahn was in like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Like he's set for life.
Yeah, he's fine. Like he'll be fine in terms of like money and stuff, but
yeah,
I actually feel like getting left behind by the Sandlerverse was probably a blessing because that went in some very unfortunate places.
Oh, for sure. But I'm thinking about it in terms of like easy paychecks every year. If he was just
and I feel like Steve Buscemi absolutely made the most of that, and good on him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Huh, man. So Steve Zahn is Roland.
Yeah, I pretty much just wanted to get my William H. Macy is Steve Zahn's father theory.
Oh, your fan theory
out there into the world.
Okay.
I don't actually think that would make a good movie.
No. So this bluff that Cuthbert makes.
Yes, and let's get back to talking about a thing that is real
things
and
that are
good.
Fucking applicable. Yeah.
and remotely enjoyable.
No, it's fine. You know, I think there are a lot of people. I think there are some people out there who are like,
I think there are a lot of people who think that William H. Macy is Steve Zahn's father, IRL.
Okay, yeah, there we go. But I think that for me, there are people who are like, oh yeah, Steve Zahn, he existed. You know, like Saving Silverman wasn't a great movie, but I mean, definitely liked him in Happy Texas.
You hold your tongue.
I liked him in Happy Texas. That was fine.
I did too. I have a soft spot for Saving Silverman.
Yeah. Man, I don't know why that movie looms so large in my life. Maybe because I was a big Jack Black fan, like back in the early 2000s, like a lot of people were.
I think that you and I were both like the literal target demographic for that movie.
Maybe it's like, oh, like Jack Black is going to shack up with Arlie Ermy. Okay, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of references, like cultural references, that are just barely not dated too much that we can't get them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just barely within the sphere of our understanding.
Well, I'm unstuck in time, so.
Well, this has been firmly established.
So anyway, they con their way in, and this ends up, like they're outnumbered. This could be a terrible thing, but Elaine has the machine gun.
Yes.
And I don't like the comic very much. I don't like the adaptation of this book, the Gunslinger Born. However, that is an amazing panel of Elaine, like just like, oh man, I love this thing. Like it's like a fetishistic object for him. And when he finally opens up, like, brrrrap, it is very satisfying, because that tilts everything in his favor, because Lengold didn't know how to use this. Like, he fucked it up real bad. Elaine, he has disdain for this as a very imprecise weapon, but being used against all these tankers, all he has to do is like light one or two up with this thing, and then all of the rest of them go.
Yeah, it is. It is a very good scene, and it's again, you kind of get a sense of just like what a gunslinger is, and it's a very entertaining scene, and it's a very like fun, satisfying depiction of the events. But like if you step back and think about like what is actually happening here, it has a lot of impact as far as just the larger universe goes when thinking about like who these people are and what they're capable of.
Yeah. They're adaptable killing machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while this is
to a terrifying extent.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see this, because
as likable as they may be as people, they are absolutely terrifying killing machines.
Oh, well, they're going to do something really terrible here, because you ain't.
Oh, yeah, it gets so much worse.
See nothing yet. Yeah, no, they're starting to lead everybody to Eyebolt, to Eyebolt Canyon.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No,
if you do not get that joke, you don't listen to any Teenage Dirtbags, which is a mistake.
Yeah.
Go do that as soon as this episode is finished.
So do.
Great.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
They start leading people to Eyebolt, where their trap is set, remember, with the gunpowder and such. While this is happening, Susan and the others are captured by Clay Reynolds and Rhea. Like, the News Titans, Rhea knows where they were going to be because of the class. But let's go back to Eyebolt. At the Thinny, Cuthbert and Elaine, they're almost drawn into it. Like, they didn't realize that it talked, that it would draw them in. And Roland is only able to, like, fire trance-breaking shots above them, at the very last minute. Like, I think Elaine's, like, the tips of his shoes are sheared off by the Thinny. Like, he is that close to walking into it.
And that as a detail, just that it's like, the tips of his shoes are shorn off when he gets that close to it.
Yeah.
Makes the very next scene just like viscerally horrifying.
Yep. Because
this is where it gets bad.
Yeah. This is like from this point forward, there is no light to be found, because intellectually you can understand, okay, we're going to draw them into Eyebolt Canyon, where this Thinny is. We're going to trap them in the canyon with the Thinny by lighting stuff on fire behind them. But the detail of the Thinny calling to them. Somebody wrote in an email. I'm sorry, I forget your name, or maybe it was a Twitter. Regardless, somebody made a very good point. The Thinny is very much like the voices that Pennywise uses to draw people into his traps and stuff.
Yeah,
offering their promises. Like, it should, like, for Roland here, like right before all this happened, it showed him like a vision of his mom and his father on vacation.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. So whoever sent that in, yes, I definitely agree. Like, the voice of the Thinny has always kind of seemed to me like, I don't know if there's a connection with Pennywise, if it's somehow like, because the idea with a Thinny is that it leads somewhere.
Right. So it is,
and it's not somewhere great.
No, I mean, like, it's a soar either between worlds or into Toadash space. So
yeah,
in the best,
and so I've always kind of felt like, and maybe like different Thinnies are like, there are different types, but like this one I've always kind of assumed led to like a realm inhabited by a creature like Pennywise.
Oh yeah, like this one, so Pennywise, this is getting into like varsity level stuff. Pennywise is definitely a demon of the Prim. Who was left here by the like when the Prim receded. This monster from Todash space, that exists solely in chaos, stranded in the order that was imposed by the Dark Tower, left to feed on whatever he could feed, whatever he could feed on, like Todash space and these thinnies lead into the Prim itself. Like, this might not be just one of these monsters. This could be any number of them. This could be all of them singing, through this portal, through this sore, drawing people in. The thing itself is deleterious. The thing itself will, corrode and eat away. Will grab birds out of the sky. But the people who, are transported through, they're not just killed immediately. They're devoured by whatever's inside.
Yeah.
Like in the mist, whatever was, summoned forth by Project Arrowhead. Right.
Yeah. They all float down there.
Yep. So we are treated to this horrible and chaotic version of these events as not just the men, but the horses panic. They're trapped and drawn forward. And just like Latigo is our point of view character in this, but Latigo is, slowly seduced. And, it is not in the end violent. They're not, in the end dragged. They all march zombie-like to their own oblivion.
I mean, I guess technically they won the battle. Like,
they knew what they were going to do. Like, it's not like they got something they didn't sign up for.
They knew what they were doing, but they didn't know what it entailed. Right. Like, they didn't know what the thinny was exactly. They had an idea, but I don't think they knew how, like, what an active participant it was going to be.
Based on what we just saw, only Roland knew that it talked.
Well, yeah, true. So that went bad, but the good guys won.
Yay!
Great.
So the people who weren't put down by the slingshot were threaded into the Eyeball Canyon to be devoured by a different dimension. The people who ran away from the slingshot, they got away. They scattered. They had enough of the wars. But yeah, like Latigo and his men, they're all scattered. Yeah, we did it. The problem is solved. The big coffin hunters are down. Why don't we all ride back into town, explain the situation, have our feast, like Reap is back on. Your mayor is dead, but Roland can be the mayor and he will rule justly with Susan at his side, and they will. Oh, yeah. No.
Everything's going to be great,
except the moon's bloody.
Yeah, which is not great.
No.
That's never a good sign.
And Roland realizes the trick that was played on him by the malevolent orb. I just wanted to say the malevolent orb. Sorry. He realizes.
I understand.
And here's a quote from the book. Perhaps the wizard's glass had only shown him what stood worlds away in order to keep from showing him what might befall so close to home. So it showed him stuff. It showed him truth, but it didn't show him the truth that would apply, to what he could immediately do. It hid the fact.
It didn't show him the complete truth.
It didn't show him that Susan was being tied to the bonfire, that Susan would, walk into the trap.
And here's where we get to the part of the book that fucks me up real good.
Yeah.
Because I never had I don't have like a phobia of fire or anything like that, but like I never really had strong feelings about the idea of someone burning to death until I read this description of it in this book.
Right.
And that has fucked me up in a way that persists to this day.
So
like Susan is tied to the unlit bonfire, and she knows what's going to happen. And I think at this point she knows that there is nothing that can be done about it.
Right. Like they're painting her hands red. Like,
Yeah. But like even beyond that, like she knows that even if help came, it would come too late.
Right.
And so she knows all that, and she's come to terms with it. And she starts praying to her father for protection because she just doesn't want the people that are doing this to her to see her in pain. She doesn't want to give them what they want.
Yeah. And that's a straight up Joan of Arc thing.
Oh, absolutely. which is like
it's not quite like as she burned instead of ashes butterflies arose from her, but it's pretty close given the setting.
Yeah. And so Roland is drawn into the ball, and like the point of view of the scene is drawn into the ball as well.
Right. It's not that he sees this like, oh, this is what is revealed to me, the truth that happened in the past. No, Roland is shown this when he is too far away to do anything about it as the pyre is lit.
Yeah. And people start throwing dried corn husks and at Susan, and there is just this like this visceral, like horrifying description of what it feels like to burn to death.
Right.
And it's something that I've never been able to shake. I read it for the first time when I was like maybe 15, and every time, including this most recent time, every subsequent time that I've read this book, I kind of skim real fast past this part because I just can't.
Yeah. So I won't torture you with the details, but like burning to death, not that great.
Not an ideal scenario.
Yeah. I don't care how the world ends in fire or ice. Personally, for me, if I end, make it ice.
Well, that sounds bad too, though.
Oh, you just go to sleep. It's fine.
Yeah, but
that's Jack. Like, are you saying that you're better than Jack from Titanic? Come on.
I mean, you make a good point. I was thinking all work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Which is also Jack.
Yep. Oh man, same person.
Those are
like reincarnated.
Oh shit! Did we just break the universe?
We certainly did, because guess what? At the end of The Shining, you see that picture, New Year's Eve, 1908 or whatever it is. Yep, that's where Jack was. That's where Jack.
Yeah.
He suffered a cursed death on the Titanic, and he was back there, to suffer the same fate in the Overlook Hotel over and over again.
And in real life, and this is a Radio Free Midworld exclusive, but in real life, Jack Nicholson is Leonardo DiCaprio's actual biological father.
Right. Yep. So we have we have William H. Macy and Steve Zahn. They are cousins. Like second cousins.
Yes.
But
is that real? Is that true?
No, it's not.
It is. It's definitely true.
It is the one thing about the story that is untrue.
Oh, okay. But Jack Nicholson, very definitely Leonardo DiCaprio's father.
Yep.
Which is why the Titanic sank.
Yep. It tried to stop him. It tried to stop Jack Torrance. Yep.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. Thanks, Obama.
So anyway.
So shit gets real bad. Everything is so unpleasant. This scene is just like horrifying to read.
Yeah.
It is bad for your eyes and your mind.
And your mind's eye.
And your mind's eye and your eye's mind and everything else. And
so
fucking read it because it's beautifully written, but I also hate it and don't really want to talk about it.
Right. So I'll get us out of this as quick as I can.
Yeah. The Roland basically draws his gun at the orb, right?
Right. Like he tries to shoot at it, and he misses.
And it says
because
the ball says nope.
Well, like what he has seen is Susan's hair lighting on fire, turning into a crown of flames, as her final words are, "Both bird and bear and hare and fish, and Roland, I love thee." Like that's like. She succeeded in her mission. She didn't cry. She didn't scream out in pain. Like her last act was to entirely, as she and her unborn child left this world, was to proclaim her love and to, throw herself onto, the faith. Right. And so Roland fires and then grabs onto the ball, screaming, no, incoherently, until he basically goes catatonic entirely.
Yeah, Roland screams until he blacks out, and then his friends basically drag him east because they can't get the ball out of his hands.
No.
And he is just like, he is gone.
Yes. I mean, like, and that's what it says. Like, it's one of the last lines of this chapter. Like the moon at the end of the cycle. And again, everything has been pinned to the passing of the moon, like showing the passage of time. Like the moon at the end of the cycle, Roland had gone. He was within the orb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so
we're going to learn a little bit about what... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just very, very light, upbeat, optimistic chapter of the Dark Tower saga.
It's like a buddy cop kind of thing, with
it's exactly like a buddy cop kind of thing where Roland is Martin Lawrence and everyone else is also Martin Lawrence.
Yep. Oops, all Lawrences.
I feel like that's where the Dark Tower film went wrong, was not casting Martin Lawrence in every role.
Doing like the Clumps kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like that is what America was clamoring for.
Yeah, and just it really biffed it. It missed the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, happy trails, everybody.
Yep, there we go. So there's going to be a little bit of cleanup in the final chapter here in All God's Chillin' Got Shoes, explaining a little bit of the mechanics of what happens in the ball. And in the next season, when we talk about kind of the interstitial stuff along with Wind Through the Keyhole, like the comics, at the very least, the trade paperback entitled The Long Road Home concerns itself mainly with what happens inside the ball.
Yeah.
And during the journey back to Gilead from Hambry. But we're going to leave that for here right now. I want to give you an opportunity, Evan, to kind of give your final thoughts about this section, but also about this book, because you're not going to be on the next episode unless there's an emergency or whatever.
Well, I mean, the first thing I want to say about this section of the book is that I definitely meant to sign up for the next section and not this one.
Oh, geez.
So this is legitimately like this is an incredible final act of a story, but it's just so profoundly unpleasant. And Stephen King does profoundly unpleasant better than most. And it's rough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I am glad that we got to chat about this, because I don't know if I realized until we were actually talking about it out loud just how foundational this was to Roland's character going forward for the rest of the series. And I mean, like we knew maybe not specifically how it was going to end, but we had a pretty good idea going into it. So this shouldn't have been a huge surprise, but Stephen King just kind of has a way with unpleasant verbs and adjectives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's a trite point, but like the conclusion isn't everything. Even when the conclusion is foregone, the journey can still gut you. How this person dies, but the details of the way that it goes, and I feel shitty like talking about the loss of a woman's life in terms of like just how much it inconvenienced and hurt the man in her life. Like I understand that's what I'm doing, but like we understand from the gunslinger exactly how much this set the tenor, and that line of like, oh, all of the joy had been replaced with grief. Like that is, the more fundamental or elemental substitution that was made when the tower replaced Susan, right?
And the fact that Roland is able to care about Eddie and Jake and Susanna and Oy is kind of takes on a new level of profundity after this backstory.
Right.
And it also very much informs the final act of the series. Mm-hmm. Which is for later.
Yeah, I have any number of points that I want to make about just kind of like my nascent conclusions about just the idea of building up and stripping away. But I don't want to do that because it's going to give away too much. And I know that the final 3 books of the series are maligned. Somewhat justly.
Good word.
Yeah, justly maligned, let's say. But I think there's a lot in those interpersonal relationships that are revealed that landed very hard for me.
Despite all their flaws, I do love this whole series. I really do. And I have my issues with it, and I'm excited to talk about some of those. But I really do love the arc that this series takes and the places that it goes.
Yeah.
And I feel like as difficult to read as the Wizard and Glass flashback can be, the series would absolutely not be the same without it.
Right.
And this is maybe, like, I know that it's kind of a polarizing thing, and I am of the opinion that I kind of wish that the flashback had been shorter, like maybe half the book instead of the bulk of the book.
Right.
But it uncovers so much about this mysterious character. It gives him a humanity and a past and a vulnerability that it's impossible to get from him at the point where the story picks up.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of my final thoughts on the flashback sequence.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like I made a lot of my points in line, but I want to revisit one particular notion, and I don't want to like raise the Dark Tower over any other like genre fiction because, you know, I haven't read the majority of it and it's just not something I pursue. But something that I think is really worthwhile when you're talking about somebody as hyper competent as Roland, you know, and stakes that are as high as what the Dark Tower sets out. You know, the temptation would be to make things platonic and pure and costless, right? These are powerful people fighting against powerful odds and prevailing. What I love, and what I don't think was really set out as strongly as I could before this, what I love about the Wizard and Glass was the introduction of the idea that victory comes at a cost. You give up something to get something, right? And
yeah,
go ahead.
And that's very much a theme that exists within these books up to this point, but it's not really overt.
Right.
And going back and rereading the series, having the context of this vignette,
yeah,
that is definitely a recurring motif within the series that, yeah, I agree with you, essentially, is what I'm getting at.
That's fine. I am happy you agree with me. No, yeah. So we've seen what Roland has given up, and the entire series beyond this is going to show us, you know, what a debt that is left, right? What a hole that is left in his life, and kind of how he's become a vessel for this impossible and unfulfilling thing. Yeah. So that's the end of this section. Like I said, there's going to be cleanup after this. Thank you, Evan, for coming along to talk about this very upsetting and disturbing thing.
Yeah.
Poor Susan. Poor Susan.
Yeah. It's bad.
It's fucked.
Yeah, it's very fucked.
Yeah.
But
on that note, Evan, where can people find you?
On the internet.
Just in general,
you know, I'm on Twitter at Mr_Harder, all spelled out. I'm on Facebook. You can just look on Facebook, I guess. Yeah, I'm not especially active on the internet at this point. Anywhere in particular, but yeah. Twitter, Instagram, at Very Good Serial Reviews. I know I've been promising a return to that for a while, and it hasn't happened. Who knows? Maybe this time it'll be real.
Yeah. Just check it, follow it. Doesn't cost you anything.
I did just find out recently that there is a Frosted Flakes Lucky Charms crossover cereal release.
What?
That.
Wait a minute. Are they Frosted Charms or are they Frosted Flakes?
I'm not positive. My understanding is that it's Frosted Flakes with Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Huh.
Which
that feels like it'd be like a textural problem, because the thing about Lucky Charms is the bullshit grain parts are roughly the same size and proportion or volume as
see, I am in the overwhelming minority here, and this is the kind of hot take you can expect from Very Good Cereal Reviews on Instagram. I actually like the Lucky Charms cereal better than the like shitty chalky Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Well, the marshmallows they're garbage. You definitely described. They're basically conversation hearts from Valentine's times.
Yeah. But the cereal, I kind of like and wish that I could get it without the garbage marshmallows.
Yeah. It's like oops, all cat food, right?
Sure, except
sorry, I don't mean to yuck on your yum. I think
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you meant to do. I'm actually that is very literally exactly what you were just doing. But it's okay. It's fine.
Thanks,
Cole. Thanks for having me, Cole. Super glad I could be here.
This is the last appearance that I was going to make. No, I personally just did
comment, and subscribe, everybody.
I personally dislike Lucky Charms.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I have one shitty sugary cereal that I eat. Like I've mostly moved on to like granola muesli or whatever it is, like a goddamn adult.
I am a big granola fan. That's kind of my go-to.
Yeah, like a protein mix, like almond and cranberry or whatever.
Yeah.
I have one. I have one shitty reward sugary cereal, and that is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you have Cinnamon Toast Crunch and you have vanilla ice cream, and you put Cinnamon Toast Crunch on top of your vanilla ice cream, it's like fried ice cream.
Oh shit! Except like from like a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, except it is probably like 480 calories instead of 550 calories.
Yeah. You know, most improvements happen on the margin.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find me on Twitter at Cole Ross, KOLEROSS, on other Duckfeed.tv shows. We are a whole podcast network, and you can watch my streams at twitch.tv/Duckfeed.tv. I play a lot of horror stuff.
Yeah, I would like to put in a very specific plug for Cole's Hexcrank live video streaming series platform.
Yeah, it's like a series.
Extravaganza.
It's like
Extravaganza.
An ongoing concern.
Yeah. Yes. There we go. It's really good. It's really fun. I've mentioned it a couple of times on here, but like I'm a big fan of all the Duckfeed shows, but the Hexcrank horror game streams, it's like if it's like YouTube, but for grown-ups who are reasonable human beings.
Yeah.
And want more than just screaming and loud cusses.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do cuss.
Well, there are loud cusses. Do not be deterred.
Yeah.
Do not think that there are not.
Oh yeah, and there are some screams. There are some yelps. There are some yops. But you know,
but that is not.
You know, I mean them. You know, I mean them. Is the thing.
They are sincere. They are not put on for the camera.
There is no camera. There is no camera. It's all game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you want there to be a camera, just tweet at BraytonJC, hashtag Cole Camera Fund.
Yeah.
And Brayton will buy Cole a camera.
I have so many cameras, Evan.
Yeah, but that's not the point, Cole.
Okay, all right, okay.
The point is to get people
to tweet at Brayton.
To order Brayton to buy you another camera.
He's done so much for me over the years. I don't want to ask him for anything.
I know. I don't do any of the things that I have requested that you do to Brayton. I love Brayton. Tweet him nice things. He's a good guy who does a lot more than I do for the network. So
he's a good man and thorough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, so that's where you can find me. That's where you can find Evan. Please rate and review the show on iTunes. We really appreciate when that happens. It's a good thing. I like when I see that. Otherwise, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/DuckFeed.tv. We are most of the way through the main series, but we have so much ahead of us. I am like reading through the stuff for the next season, and it's so good. I have so much to say about it. Subscribe, stick around, tell your friends. It's all good stuff. Radio Midworld is a good place to be, and I'm happy you're here. And until next time, long days and pleasant nights.
Praise the beam.